The Memphis Grizzlies look like serious title contenders in the Western Conference with a huge win over a fully healthy Boston team last night. They won by 6 points, and honestly, their team just looked amazing, and they look like real contenders in the Western Conference. Looking at the box score here of the Grizzlies and the Celtics game, we can see Ja Morant, he had an electric all-around game, 32 points, 9 assists, 9 rebounds, almost had a 30-point triple-double, and he was very efficient from the field and also the three-point line as well. So a great game from Ja Morant, probably one of his better games this entire year. He's dealt with a lot of injuries over the past couple weeks and just in this season in general. So it's nice to finally see Ja Morant have a really good performance against a top-level defense and just a top-level team in general. Like the Boston Celtics are probably still the NBA champion favorites. Like they're probably still the favorites to win the NBA championship. So for Memphis to go on the road and beat Boston is a huge win for Memphis. Jaren Jackson Jr. also had an amazing scoring night, 27 points, also elite efficiency, 11 to 19 from the field and 3 of 4 from the three-point line. So from your two superstar, all-star caliber players, whatever you do want to call Jaren Jackson Jr. and Ja Morant, both of your guys had amazing performances. Desmond Bane, not bad as well, like solid efficiency, 14 points. He shot 40% from the three, and he shot just under 50% from the field. So a great performance from their big three, if you call it. Brandon Clark, he had an amazing game, 18 points, really good efficiency, 9 of 11 from the field. Like all around, their efficiency was very, very good. 45% from three throughout the whole team, and then also 50% from the field. And they also had Marcus Marco 1 for 6 and still shoot 45% from three. Yes, he's still a really good defender. Marcus Smart's very valuable on that side of the ball, but he had an awful scoring night, an awful efficiency night, also only shooting 1 of 11 from the field. So the fact that their efficiency looks that good with Marcus Smart being that bad just goes to show how great of a night this entire Memphis Grizzlies team had. And, we can look at the stats enough and we can go through every single stat and look at, who's doing good and who's doing bad. But this Grizzlies team just overall has looked amazing this entire year. There's been so many good players that we didn't know about. For example, like a guy like Jay Huff, right? He's been on summer league teams. He's been on the end of the bench for a lot of NBA teams, and he's had a really good season. Scottie Pippen Jr., didn't have the best of nights tonight, or last night, but he only shot 2 times, 1 of 2 from the field, 0-1 from 3. But Scottie Pippen Jr. has been having an excellent season for the Grizzlies and is kind of having that breakout year, being a really good facilitator off the bench, behind Ja Morant and Desmond Bane. But I do want to quickly check out the roster here of the Grizzlies and just go over who they have, because I think this Grizzlies team is extremely deep. I think they have a lot of good defense, a lot of good scoring, and I think this Memphis Grizzlies team, if they can stay fully healthy and Ja Morant stays on the floor, I think this is a team that could be a real threat in the Western Conference. Santi Aldama, I thought he's had a really good season so far. He's another, tall wing that can defend, do everything on the court. Like he's 7 foot, but plays kind of that small forward, power forward position and can play center if you really need him to. Desmond Bane, we know the lights out shooter that he is. Not having the greatest of seasons for Desmond Bane, but he's still an all-star. Maybe not all-star, but he's a really good starter caliber player in the NBA. Brandon Clark, he had a great game against the Celtics, and he's a great center, power forward, whatever you do want to call him positions-wise, but he's a really good big in the NBA. Zach Edey hasn't been playing as much as I thought he would, but in the minutes that Zach Edey's played and the time that he's played, I thought Zach Edey's actually looked very solid for the Grizzlies, and down the road, I think he could be a very valuable piece in the playoffs. Jay Huff, like I mentioned, he went from an end-of-the-bench summer league type of player for quite a bit of teams in the NBA to this season where he's averaging over 10 points a night and is shooting over 40% from three as a 7-foot center. He has been amazing for the Grizzlies, probably their most surprising player, just a guy that nobody thought would be this good, and he's been super impactful off the bench for this Grizzlies team, probably one of their more valuable players they have on this roster. GG Jackson, he's really, really good, and he's scoring 15 points a night, and I don't think he gets talked about too often. So GG Jackson, I really like as a small forward, kind of power forward, off the bench for the Grizzlies. They have so many good players. They even have Luke Kennard, a knockdown shooter. They got Jaren Jackson Jr., still one of the better interior defenders in the NBA. They got John Morant. Obviously, he's one of the best point guards in the NBA. Like I mentioned about Scottie Pippen Jr., I thought he's had a really good season so far, kind of a breakout player. They still have Marcus Smart, who we know is an excellent perimeter defender, is really valuable on that side of the floor. Maybe not a great offensive player anymore, but still can be productive on the offensive end. And Jalen Wells, he's having one of the best rookie seasons. He's probably going to finish in top 3 rookie of the year conversations, probably behind Jared McCain and Dalton Connect. But you got a top 3 rookie in this year's class. You got Zach Edey, who's probably a top, 5 to 10 rookie in this year's class. You did an amazing job drafting this year. You got really good role players with Santi Aldama, G.G. Jackson, Scottie Pippen Jr., Jay Huff, really good players off the bench. You got Jaren Jackson Jr., Brandon Clark as kind of your center big duo with also having Edey off the bench. You got great wings. You got great guard play with John Morant, Desmond Bane. I mean, this team, this Memphis Grizzlies roster has all the players you need to compete for an NBA title. You have that superstar caliber player in John Morant. You got great role players, great defense around him, and also knockdown shooters. They're a good 3-point shooting team with guys like Luke Kennard, coming off the bench. I don't think he even plays for them that often, but when he does, he is a lights out shooter, only averaging about 7 points per game. But we know he's probably one of the best just shooters in the entire NBA. We can take a look at their schedule here and see who they're playing over the next couple weeks. But this is a Grizzlies team that has been rolling. Their only loss in what seems like almost the past couple weeks is against a very good Dallas Mavericks team that honestly I was watching most of that fourth quarter, and the Grizzlies really should have won that game. A very disappointing loss to the Mavs. And if you take away that loss, that's a game they really should have won. They'd be on a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 game winning streak, and then play Washington today when you guys are watching this video. This is a Memphis team that is rolling right now. Their record in the NBA Western Conference is one of the best. They're 16-8, tied with the Mavs for the 2 seed. And they got a couple easy games coming up against Washington and Brooklyn, and even LA. The Lakers haven't looked great. So if they can win there, I mean, this is a team that could really jump to maybe even the 1 seed in the Western Conference. So I like the Grizzlies roster. I think they're super deep. They're well coached. I like Taylor Jenkins as a coach. I think they have all the tools they need to compete in this Western Conference as long as they can stay healthy. I'm very confident in this Memphis Grizzlies team as a true competitor and a true contender in the Western Conference. Let me know what you guys think, though, about the Grizzlies. Do you think they're real or a real a threat in the West? Do you guys think they're going to be real contenders? Or do you think this Grizzlies team is more of just a regular season team and will kind of flame out in the first or second round of the playoffs? But they've been playing amazing over the past month or so, and I'm super excited watching this Grizzlies team. But let me know in the comment section down below, what do you guys think about the Grizzlies? A great win over Boston last night, a huge win on the road. But yeah, hopefully you guys did enjoy the video, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.